The Federal Skilled Worker Program. Minimum requirements. Skilled work experience. Your work experience must be in the same type of jobs as your primary NOC within the last 10 years. Paid work. Volunteer work on paid internships don't count. At the skill type O or skill levels A or B of the 2016 National Occupational Classification, NOC. At least 1 year, 1,560 hours total, 30 hours per week, continuous. Full-time at one job, 30 hours per week for 12 months, equivalent of 1 year full-time, 1,560 hours. Equal amount in part-time, 15 hours a week for 24 months, the equivalent of 1 year full-time, 1,560 hours. Full-time at more than one job, 30 hours per week for 12 months at more than one job, the equivalent of 1 year full-time, 1,560 hours. You must show that you did the duties set out in the occupational description in the NOC. These include most of the main duties listed. If you can't show that your work experience meets the description in the NOC, you aren't eligible under this program. Language ability. You must take an approved language test that shows you meet the level 4, writing, reading, listening, speaking. Get a minimum score of Canadian Language Benchmark CLB 7 in all 4 abilities. Include the test results in your Express entry profile. You must show that you meet the requirements in English or French. Your test results must not be more than 2 years old on the day you apply for permanent residence. Education. If you went to school in Canada, you must have a certificate, diploma, or degree from a Canadian secondary high school or post-secondary school. If you have foreign education, you must have an Educational Credential Assessment (ECA) report from an approved agency showing that your foreign education is equal to a completed certificate, diploma, or degree from a Canadian secondary high school or post-secondary school. Selection factors. If you meet conditions set out in the minimum requirements, the CIC will assess your application based on these selection factors: age, education, work experience, whether you have a valid job offer, English and/or French language skills, adaptability, how well you're likely to settle here. These factors are part of a 100-point grid used to assess federal skilled workers. You earn points for how well you do in each of the 6 factors. Your total points will show if you qualify for the Express entry pool. The current pass mark is 67 points. Proof of funds. You must show that you have enough money to support yourself and your family after you arrive in Canada, unless you are currently able to legally work in Canada, have a valid job offer from an employer in Canada, principal applicant. If you are applying on your own, you are the principal applicant. If you have a living partner, either you or they can apply under express entry as a principal applicant if you are married, common law partners, which means you are an opposite sex or same-sex couple, have lived together in a marriage-like relationship for at least 1 year, both meet the requirements to apply as a federal skilled worker. Your principal applicant should be the one of you most likely to meet the eligibility requirements, earn the most points in the section factors, earn the most points under the comprehensive ranking system for express entry. Other requirements: you must be admissible to Canada. You must plan to live outside the province of Quebec. If you have a skilled work experience and want to live in Canada permanently, use our Come to Canada tool to see if you are eligible for the express entry pool. Determine if you are inadmissible. Some people are not allowed to come to Canada. They are known as inadmissible under Canada's immigration law. There are many reasons CIC might not let you into Canada, such as you are a security risk, you have committed human or international rights violations, you have been convicted of a crime, or you have committed an act outside of Canada that would be a crime. You have ties to organized crime. You have a serious health problem, a serious financial problem, you lied in your application or in an interview, you do not meet the conditions in Canada's immigration law, or one of your family members is not allowed into Canada. Are you inadmissible? Normally, if you are inadmissible to Canada, you will not be allowed to enter. If you have a valid reason to travel to Canada, CIC may issue a temporary resident permit. If you have committed or been convicted of a crime, you have a few options. If you have been convicted of driving while impaired by alcohol or drugs, you will probably be found criminally inadmissible to Canada. But as of March 1st, 2012, you may be able to get a temporary resident permit for one visit without paying the $200 Canadian processing fee.